Out. I appreciate all of you coming out on such a nasty day outside, but I'm very appreciative of all of you. Tonight is our second Poets in the Punkhouse, which they might also be punks too, but we'll do this. Our Poets in the Punkhouse, and it's not necessarily a series, but we're just going to do it like that until come up with a better name, because I never was in love with that name. But if anybody thinks of a better one, feel free to write it down in a suggestion and leave it over at the suggestion box, which we don't have. Thanks again for coming out, everybody. We have a really great show tonight. We're going to have a lot of really amazing poets that are going to be reading. Jamie Jones, Erica Streeter-Hodge, and Leanne Brown, who's come all the way from New York for this event and many other events over at Pensacola State College, too. So I really appreciate them being over here. Thanks a lot to Jamie Jones for setting this up, so a little hand for him to do that. And also in advance for all the poets who came out. But before we have the poets come out, I have a special guest for us. Imani Kopp is going to come and talk to us a little bit. So as most of you know, this is a benefit for the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. We've all been seeing the news, feeds on Instagram. There's a lot of things that are going on over there, and this is something we might be able to help a little bit with. So, come on.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, especially because of the Palestinians. And I was told to come here. I didn't even know from where to start because there's just so much that I want to say. But the thing that keeps coming into my mind, I'm not sure if you guys saw yesterday the CTV about when the Palestinians were around the truck and they were trying to take the food, and they were basically executed. So when you look at that, I think it's called CTV, when they recorded from the top. I was looking at it yesterday, and I saw it on one of the Instagram pages. I'm not sure if they took it down or not. But when you look at it, it basically looks like little ants. It's from the top, and everything is gray and black and white. And they look like little ants going onto the truck, and then you can kind of see the ants trying to run away. And I think that's how most of the Western world views Palestinians, as ants. And that kind of hit hard for me. It was hard because those are human beings. Every dot was a person. It wasn't something. It had a soul. It had a family. It had children. It had brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers. And then to just say, oh, they had 120 casualties that day because we have to look into the issue and find out what's going on. I mean, everything is already recorded. If you want to see us as ants, and if they want to treat us as ants, then at least be honest about it. Don't go around the bush and make it like, oh, we're going to help you out, especially like the governments, oh, we're going to help you out, but then they go behind and then they're taking our tax money. And no matter how much we try to say that, it's not sinking in. They take our tax money, and then they send weapons for genocide. And that hurts. That really hurts. And no matter how much we speak, no matter how much, we try to do resolutions, no matter how much our voices are, whatever we do, we're always silenced. And now I think it didn't start on October 7. October 7 was the straw that broke the camel's back. That's when the Palestinians were like, enough is enough. We are in this concentration camp with a wall around us. No one is caring. We need to make noise if they're not listening. So they made noise. And everyone listened. Everyone heard. But then they got the wrong message. It was always back to, oh, well, you attacked first. You can't kill 30,000 people because of someone who attacked first. When you know that it did not start on October 7th. We all know that it started way before. I wish sometimes that I can sit with those people that are making those decisions to just understand why are they doing what they're doing besides the fear of the Zionist movement. I mean, I don't want to go into politics and everything like that, but there has to be a stop to it. There's a lot. There is a solution. Israel doesn't want it, and so they just want to keep killing. And again, we're not ants. My grandfather was born in 1889. We have his birth certificate, and it says born in Palestine. My father was born in 1943. It says born in Palestine. And then the Nakba happened in 1948. So from now on, what I'm going to say is, look, my name is Iman Qadir Ogab, and I am the daughter of a Nakba survivor. Because we need to acknowledge the Nakba too. So I am the daughter of a survivor of the Nakba. And if you don't know what the Nakba is, then you can Google it, or you can, I think there's a new documentary from the mouths of the Israeli soldiers themselves called Tantura, I think, and it was made in 2022. You can listen to it. The old soldiers, they're old now, but they were, back then, they will tell you stories of how they went in and raped and just watch it and you will understand what the Nakba is. No matter how much I tell you, you're gonna have to see it firsthand. So again, my name is Iman Qadir Ogab, and I am I am the daughter of two survivors. My grandfather is a survivor of the Nakba, and so is my father. I wrote this poem probably 10 years ago, and it still hits hard. So if you guys don't mind, I'd like to read it. It's called Once a Crown, Now a Soul Drag. She is an innocent beauty, full of green valleys and white birds, fly atop her like angels with wings that soar in the sky. For her, anything was possible, for she held diverse religion hand in hand, with smiles, laughter, and peace. She suddenly falls, and her blood spreads, and all her dreams suddenly crush. The once wrecked become the wreckers. Black devils and red horns come thieves at night. Once a crown, now a soul drag. Apartheid walls surround her from all around. Black smoke and red tears color all green and white. She has been used and sold like a harlot. Against her will, she becomes a scarlet. Yet everyone watches, everyone talks, everyone turns, and then everyone walks. She stands tall, yet she wails. Where is humanity? Where are the kites? Where are all the greens and whites? Why is everything black and red? Everywhere she looks, her children are dead. Crafting her into a spreading cancer in the mid of sleeping nations who will not awake. Her children perish and are blamed for the sake of their laughter and purity by the lake. But you see, she will never yield. She will scream until all is awake. She will dance again in the field, break her siege and breathe again. She will fight for her valleys and birds, and we will bring her peace once again. Oh, Palestine, my motherland, please don't cry. Your precious children will never let you die.
I'm going to pass this around, and this is money that's going towards the Palestinian Children's Shelter Fund. Last time when we did this, we were able to raise nearly $500, in a group about this big, so it's pretty impressive. So anything you can do to help out, would be greatly appreciated. So I'll just pass this around to you. Okay. And our first poet tonight is my good friend Jamie Jones. Jamie Jones read over here right on the spot not too long ago, a few months back, maybe about 6 months ago. But Jamie is, I think probably for a lot of you, is somebody who is well known within the poetry community. Jamie's been a mainstay for years and years and years, and is probably one of the big reasons why a lot of the poetry community in different places and different spots and different moments even existed. Has been one of the people who's been able to bring a lot of the poets over to Pensacola State College, and then also just into the community itself, including one of our guests tonight, Leanne Brown. So I wanted to thank Jamie first, for all the work that you've done in the poetry community. But then also I want to introduce you here. So I guess I did introduce him. So let me bring him up. Jamie Jones, everybody.
All right. Hey, everybody. Good to see you all. This is a poem called Hair. Just go home to your hair, to the dead leaves of the sweet gum browning the yard. Go home to the scrawny fox sunning himself in plain view by the azaleas. Go home to coffee while watching him. Go home to find your heart to the real heart of the God confusion, collision of star parts. I show Kathy the orange planet Mars. She shows me Venus. Sometimes you fall into a puddle of cliches. It was not meant to be cliche, but sometimes this is what your breath becomes. I pointed to Pleiades, the seven sisters. She said, "How can you tell?" She counts 7. I can only count 6. She said the 7th just got covered by a cloud. I said, I never see the 7th. But that's not entirely true. Sometimes, if I stare back without blinking, I see a shimmering fleck. Sometimes you never see your home in a present particular. Sometimes you become estranged, lose your way, and everything seems peculiar. Just go home to your hair, to the composting leaves in the garden, to the unseen alligators in your dreams. Your home, go home to your hair, right there. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's so great to be here. I've been telling people that I've invited here this week often, I said, you know, if you don't know about this place, it's a center of sanity in this town. It really, really is. I don't know of any place that's cooler. I don't know if there's any other place I would really rather be doing a reading or just hanging out. So I'm glad you're all here. Thank you, Scott and Sean and Lauren and Valerie and everyone else involved with making 309 possible. So this is a longer poem, and yeah, I went to Minneapolis one time, and this is about that trip. And the names in here have been left in, so the innocent are not protected. And the Leanne in here really is the Leanne that's with us tonight. Cool. When we get into the sky, can we please eat this song? In this book, I will have a dream, and the dream will be a poem, and the poem will take its own course. When we get into the sky, can we please eat this song? Yes. When we get into the sky, we can eat this song. In Minneapolis, the sun is shining and the runways are stained with oil and history. We are backing out, directed by men with orange vests and sticks and yellow earplugs. They look so themselves out there. A plane in reverse, covering the mapped history with its oil and secrets. In this way, backing out means something else. Goodbye, country that's so beautiful. We salute your sunshine, lakes, and tater tots. We imagine the yellow lines on your runway, your blue lights and grass that is just waking up. Good morning, grass of the waking class. You've come too far to back out now. Just open your eyes and breathe. In the lakes of nowhere, a neighborhood. Your lakes are clearly visible, dotted by suburban histories of dirt and weather. A twisting Mississippi spotted for the first time, head convoluted with too much day world. You could say, I'm really stressed out because of too many things to do, but you don't. You just don't. Although finally an eye enters, which gives this song a subject, and clouds. But instead you say, head convoluted with too much day world. The sky is you, if slippery, no other. And clouds, and sadness, in a crumb-like way, haunts me every day. You open your eyes to its staggering histories, like oil, rivers, and lakes upon leaving. Though the sadness you leave is never left, the leaving turns in on itself, upon first being spotted, just waking up. In this way, sadness is like leaving, lingering. It lingers, always. And if you never leave, then you never arrive. And sadness does stay around like this. But something more concrete, a bright Sunday morning, 3,100 feet up above the Midwest, and the depression barely hides just behind the eyes. 51 in 6 days, crumbling. I often feel like a crumb. Why is it, like rivers, I do not know, always? It's always there, as long as I can remember. For the entire length of memory, memory and sadness. The length of memory and sadness. I should read and work on the poems more, exercise more, drink less, eat right, clean and clear out the house, rest. Yes, but I get sad to see 51 approaching and knowing that I don't. Haven't done yet. Been saying this forever. Since before I was born, since after I awoke. New grass of Minnesota in runway patch of airport. Like clouds, we weave a world with these words of our sadness and lowest self-esteem, of nagging fear that the first PowerPoint will peter out. Peter this and peter that, putter itself to a never-beginning, unending nagging. Knowing that once back home, a big galoot nothing will sit on you, and you'll wish you were someone else. Yes, but you are not someone else. Couldn't be if you tried. But 3,300 and 4,000 feet into the light, I am here, and no one is sitting on me. The sky is full of nice, clean haircuts and the need to be still. Like yesterday at the hotel bar, talking to Katie. Clean haircuts, coffee, and Sky Mile cookies. Agitated coffee bumping along the Sky Miles. The road to coffee is often full of bumps. Last night after the reading, we crammed ourselves into a cab and went to a bar called Grumpy's. But the bar with Katie and the hotel haircuts was before this. Sunlight still about the outlined windows. The kind beer-drinking fellow beside me told me I had nice hair, and he meant it. His cut was clean, as neat and precise, much unlike mine, or at least how I perceive it. Mine not precise, but wavy like some clouds traced more and more with silver linings. And Katie in the sun understands this, and she sings energy, her every step. She is a convergence waiting to happen. One boundless practice of everything, yes. And the sky-cut guy spoke with her too, as we nibbled on her bison and boundless bits of chips and cheese. His daughter was in a dance contest, and he was at the bar having a beer. But it's not what it seems. He was seemly in a wholesome way, and wore his heart on his big red face. And in the most human sense, we sensed his talk, and I hope he ours, though I felt I should have spoken more. Kind people adoring deserve more of that. Our attention, not much to ask. If this poem were a prayer, I would pray it for him, and his hymn of a haircut in the beer talk of days. Upon arriving in Minneapolis, I was greeted by a robin, and then I saw two geese in partnered formation, like one sneeze and another in quick succession. Patterned as this flying over the highway. A man driving a van was singing to himself like his life depended on it. Depended and bent, the scuffling of travel requires such focus. Is it muddy? Is it dreamy? Is it Mississippi heartland? Mudfields, marsh hearts. In Minneapolis, I never saw the Mississippi, but I did once get lost in the skyway and doubted my steps. I could see the hotel and the telltale outer world, but I kept getting further and further away from it. But the skyway to some is a riddle and a wonder, like when Jennifer, in the flood of writerly masses, enthusiastically said to me, "I learned there's this thing called the skyway." I amazed my way back to her in the hotel saying, "I know, I got lost in it yesterday." This proves that Jennifer and I are equally tourists in this way. Sometimes when you doubt things, you circle them, like dotted fields of the great Midwest, like Minneapolis and its history with lakes, its oil stains and panhandlers. "Pray for me," one said to me, and I said, "Sure, I mean it," he said, with his bumble-casted leg. "I know," I said. That was on the way back from the bursting bubble overflowing with Hilton and sacrificed space, where I lost Leanne in the Leanne night. You can doubt the night like you doubt yourself, but you shouldn't doubt Leanne. I didn't doubt her and didn't exactly lose her, which moves me in a way back to concrete and history. We caught a cab in the leathery history of sundown and scenery along the skyway-riddled Nicollet Mall, with its gangs of pedestrians and homeless posses snapping pictures and drumming onward, in a flush of where are we going and where have we been. She found the address, and the cabbie thought it funny that I got lost in the Skyway. A Mexican from Queens, he's been in Minneapolis for 16 years now. He said we should see the Mall of America. She said, we hate malls. Malls are evil. He got silent, and I think she felt a pedal drop of remorse. I just wanted to see the Mississippi. This was on our way to the Birds of Sex World poetry reading in a loft with a window opened with a wasp on a penciled sketch come to life on the wall. With Michael and Kim, two good friends of Meaning and Miles. Of Michael's friend Jin, who couldn't get in, so waited and had a drink at the bar below the open window. Leanne smiled like Leanne and smiled some more, but didn't sing. But she did read songs about her love for Miranda, who awoke from sleep saying, take me to the grass. Michael, not weary, one word at a time, light spaces in the American songbook. She's holding on to you for dear life. This line dropped in as a gift from a pronomial sky. As we descend over Georgia, as ascending some before, Michael spoke one word, whole one words at a time, and in a string he strung them together like steps in the air, like a string of lakes or sneezes. Kim was terrific in her Kim-like manner of love, because that's what she does, which converges us well in the big, this is what we do, and every time I'm around her, I always want to do more. Her lines in quick-witted shifts shot back and forth in the light. Her eyes, as she read, became heart headlights. This much is clear, even thick-haired and in clouds. His cloud haircut landed in Atlanta, a man 5 seats ahead, his headphoned in a loom large way. His hair from the back is big, neat, and clean, like that sky on the ground, like that kindness in the bar. We bumble along the old milky trail, ready to wean ourselves from the secret traces of oil, love of the lake lore. We leave those lakes behind. It leaves us. They're back where we once belonged, converged in night cars, cramped together with bodies. Those were the days when they were last night. The leaving never leaves, but listens and remembers, pushes and picks, all the while winding forward in a hold-back Mississippi Skyway way. In this cloud, we come home. Thank you. Thanks a lot. The good news is that's the longest poem of the night. So the rest are going to be easy. Heat from a light that got lost. She's missing an orange pumpkin. I'm missing my heart in my head instead. She's wearing a floral shower cap and walking around the kitchen. I'm scribbling in purple by chance after reading poems about communicating beyond the auditory. I'm missing my heart in my head instead. She said to herself, I didn't just do that. And I said, yes, you did. I'm scribbling in purple by chance after reading poems about communicating beyond the auditory. She said, I'm going to sleep in the garden. And I said, there's not much privacy out there. She said to herself, I didn't just do that. And I said, yes, you did. I'm just trying to make my first cup of coffee. She said, I'm going to sleep in the garden. And I said, there's not much privacy out there. And if a car sees you, they'll think you're dead or in distress. I'm just trying to make my first cup of coffee. She said, that wind is sacred. And if a car sees you, they'll think you're dead. I'm scrambling to create the person I most want to be. She said that wind is sacred. I wrote in waking, in scheduling, in ant farms, in window staring. I'm scrambling to create the person I most want to be. She reads Crime and Punishment before going to bed. I wrote in waking, in scheduling, in ant farms, in window staring. She said the front porch is riddled with ghosts. She reads Crime and Punishment before going to bed. I wrote, what is a poem but a bushel of pure energy? She said, that front porch is riddled with ghosts. She's wearing a floral shower cap and walking around the kitchen, I wrote, what is a poem but a bushel of pure energy? She's missing an orange pumpkin. Thank you. So, hand tune. Where the lines repeat themselves throughout every stanza in a different way. First, you have to get past the barriers, general riffraff, fallen fruit, buildings, people barking apocalypse at every turn. This is not them, not there, not here, not now. Turning over, you see that the sky is everywhere, covers the front porch in shifts of star angle, sweet dream. Sun, moon, depression glass, robin egg blue. It's true, this place is you, it. You hope, hone, fine tune, shift and shape from this to that. Sit back, get out of the way, call in sick, stay home in your angel suit. All called up in white windows. Not New York, not New Orleans, but new, now, today. Among the incoming news, approaching lists like freighters, what to do, when to do it, who to call, and the ongoing wait for the next available representative. No, I am not a robot, and those are storefronts, and that's a crosswalk, and the mortgage rate, along with the humidity, hasn't been this low in a decade, which is good news for mornings and the people who study them. Move mountains of boxes and light from here to there, through space, this ocean, that continent, this first growth floor, that living room, dining room, kitchen, bath, library, sleeping porch, to the new world. Single light bulb hangs in space from the tongue and groove, this tongue, that groove. This is a short poem. Imagine that. It's called Event. It's for Rachel. This morning, fresh from sleep, before you fully opened your eyes, you smiled at me. That was nearly 8 hours ago, and I'm still at work. But here it is, still happening, your smile, an ongoing event in my head. It's a love poem. What do, you know? I say embrace them. That's what you should do. Even if you end up hating them later, but I won't hate that one later. Rilke 12, and I'm almost done here. We'll keep moving. Rilke 12. Threaded life in those Fire Island waves, the same way I feel about wanting to plant azaleas in the yard. He poured his heart into that letter as he'd never done before or since. And later, in a book that would speak to many, which no one could foresee, as the little black refrigerator shook the jars of dog and cat treats on top of it, as it began to rattle just below Harriet Tubman on green plywood, looking at us as if she's Harriet Tubman on green plywood, saying she freed 1,000 slaves and could have freed 1,000 more if they'd known they were slaves. Hello, Bernadette, you blue angel, you. It's 6:34 a.m. on the Tuesday before Easter Eve, and I send you postcards of oysters and magnolias through the mental mail. And oh, there's that garbage truck out front right now. And that email from Maureen last night made me feel as though I was glowing as never before or since. This one involves singing, and I don't think you want to hear me sing tonight. I don't want to hear me sing tonight.
Do it.
I do.
No.
Yes, please.
Okay. If you insist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But don't hold it against me. I'm not into karaoke. This isn't karaoke. Although we went last night and Leanne sang Jolene. Yeah.
They didn't have a monitor though. Couldn't hear what I said.
You sounded great.
Okay.
Everybody was singing with you, so
Yeah, that was
the
helpful.
whole audience was singing. Doris Day. Y'all remember her?
Yeah.
Yeah. My mother liked Doris Day, so I did too. In fact, I thought she was pretty before I knew what that word meant, which didn't matter because her blue eyes were sweet. At least I think they were blue, as was her olive complexion, blonde hair. At least I think it was blonde, and constant look of vulnerable inquiry, as if she needed me and I needed her. My mother was pretty too, though her eyes were kind and brown, not blue. She knew that Doris Day was good, or so it felt, and I felt it too. And she would sing Que Sera, Sera to me, the way Doris Day did, but more in her own way and less Doris Day. That's not to say we weren't believers in Doris Day's witty humor and conventional femininity on the screen. That oops, what did I do charm bouncing around, because we were believers. But when she sang Que Sera, Sera, whatever will be, the future's not ours to see. Que Sera, Sera. I didn't sing it, back up. But when she sang Que Sera, Sera, whatever will be, the future's not ours to see. Que Sera, Sera. It made me melt into pretty little puddles of melancholy waves of my mother's love and the love of Doris Day, which made me feel safe and still does to this day. Sometimes my mother and Doris Day were the same person when numbers didn't matter and I was too young to know the word pretty, but I knew its meaning fully and knew too that they were that, one pretty person, sometimes two. Whatever will be, especially when they sang Que Sera, Sera to me. All right, let's wrap this up. All right, I've read this one before here, but I think it's a good one to read now. Sorry. Actually, I've not read this one before. This is a poem for my sister Lisa, who's here tonight, and it's called October Air. Owl swooped out and down into our view as we angled fully forward, October aware, free library to free library. We listened to the titles as if studying the habits of tiny trout as they angle about in October air. We lean ahead in a stream of titles, owl swooped and alone. We move forward, single steps in time, our grace intertwined in the nearly silent origins of owl paths opening into night. October alone, we listen to the air, and dark is just another hue. Bent before bird calls, silent swoop, shove above our heads, forging a stream headed westward. We alone angle the prism, evening, calm steps, passage, plight, pilgrim. We are pilgrim seekers, every day a prayer, every silence one silence. We are held in one grace. The owl leaves a stream in the air, creator of night paths flying above these avenues, stitched together in a grid. All streets lead to little libraries somewhere, tucked in sidewalk corners, bridging October night streams. Determining the yardage of our little listen walks, the owl alone leaned its stream into ours, together alone in an owl stream, downstream in owl time. Ours is a sky of two types of seeing. Ours is a seeing of two types of sky. Sky types beginning in owl path October, night tethered fractals teeming with trout. Tiny sages of our better graces. We call on these traces lest we be wrong. We call on these gifts that we may freely believe, freely step westward in newly formed openings with owl stream beginnings, little listen spaces of October night. Thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. My fanfare. Thank you.
Jamie Jones, everybody. Yes, so thanks a lot, Jamie, for a really awesome reading. And also, I wanted to again thank him on for speaking tonight. It takes a lot to be able to speak about these issues, especially when it's as close to your heart as it was, is for her. So I appreciate you speaking here tonight. So a big round of applause for him. All right, and also, if anybody wants to donate to the Palestinian Children's Welfare Fund, you didn't bring cash. There's also, if you want to donate through our Venmo over here, we'll make sure that it gets there. There's a little block in your Venmo thing that you could put where it's going to. And if you just put Palestine or something like that, we'll make sure that it gets over there. Okay. So I wanted to thank you. And for those of you who have not been to 309, how many of you have not been here before? All right, right on. Okay, cool. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about what we are. So we formed in 2016 to help save this house. It's a punk house, and people sometimes would ask, what's a punk house? It's a house where punks live. So we formed the house in 2016. Formed the project, 309 Punk Project in 2016 to help save this house. And through a long, convoluted process, we were able to do so. And what we've done since then is we turned the house into a nonprofit organization. And what we do is we have artists in residence who come here. They stay here for basically about a month. We just lost an artist the other day. She was two of them, Jenny Andrews and Crystal Tremor. Both of them were former roommates over here in the house from way back. They put together a really, really amazing show the other day, and they left. Our next artist is going to be coming in on the 9th of March, which is our big day over here, 309 day, 3/09, our chosen birthday. And we're doing a big event on that day, so if you'd like to come by and check that out, we'd love to have you for that. And but that's Andrew Velasco. He's a former student over at UWF and now is a photographer, and he'll be doing a really amazing show over here. I've already seen a lot of the work, so I'm pressed already with the work, but I'm going to be really pressed to see all this stuff up on the wall, so it's going to be pretty cool. But we have a pretty big schedule of artists that come through here. We've been doing this now with the artists in the house since about 2021, and we also, so we've been doing that for that long. We have a big list of artists that are coming up in the next few months. We also have an archive, so we've been doing a couple different things here. One of them is we have historic archives to capture a lot of the countercultural history in Pensacola, the radical history, the history of protests, and all these different things. And it's all in that room over there. We've released at least 2 books now of our own that we released, and we have a book that's been published about us with the University Press of Florida too. So lots of things out there if you like, and we have a merch room over there if you want to take a look at that, and that's pretty much how we support what we're doing is through either the merch sales or from, which are all donations to us, and any other donations too. And I'll make this one other pitch, that we have a Patreon over here. So if you'd like to be a comrade of the 309 Punk Project, we would love to have you as a comrade of the 309 Punk Project. So it works like any other Patreon, but helps to keep us sustainable so we know what our budgets are going to be throughout the year. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. So if you haven't been here before, welcome here to 309. So thanks. So our next, thanks for the So our next poet is Erica Streeter Hodge. Erica Streeter Hodge is an amazing poet, and Erica has been holding to get. Oh, sorry. Oh, and Lauren wanted me to point out we also have refreshments in there. So if you want to drink wine, beer, or sodas, waters, and all that stuff, we have all this stuff in there. And there might even be a handful of free cookies back there too. So get some if you want. So Erica Streeter Hodge is our next poet. Erica has been holding together the Pensacola poets for about a year or two now.
A year.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
All year.
Oh yeah, so if you've been to Pensacola Poets, Pensacola Poets used to be over at Constant Coffee, now over at Subculture. Used to be Easygoing Gallery, now Subculture, and they meet once a week, or no, 2 weeks?
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. And been an amazing part of this whole community. So I know so many students that go over there that have worked their way through there, and the whole project itself, has been a really strong mainstay in our poetry community for a number of years. Erica put out a book a couple of years ago as well, and was gracious enough to come speak to my class, and my class loved her, and I'm sure that you're going to love her too. So, Erica Streeter Hodge. I should mention, pretty sure all these poets have books for sale too. So if you like their poetry and would like to get one of their books, they got them. That's how poets stay alive.
Right.
Mike? Oh, yeah, Mike. They were like recording with
It's
the
fine.
mic.
I put one on the
Oh,
window so
okay.
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
I know very well that my ancestors had no desire to come to this place, but neither did the ancestors of the people who became white or who required of my captivity a song. They require a song of me, less to celebrate my captivity than to justify their own. James Baldwin. A song, you say? There will be no la la las, no shoots, no doo-wops, no beats dropped to make you feel better. We will not write the lullabies to rock your shame to sleep. Stay awake all night and look at your sin. Look up at the ceiling with futility, waiting for it to become the night's sky, so you can ride away on a shooting star. Look at your polished hardwood floor until you fear it will open up and swallow you whole. You soulless bastard. No, there will be no songs from us to you. When you think of music, do not think of me or my name or my great-great-grandfather or his father nor his mother's mother. You don't deserve the sounds of our peace. But for our people, there is music tickling our tongues at all times. With every, hey girl, and every, what's going on, brother? There are the sounds of thumb drums, and we feel the heat from the hands of the djembe player. We pass each other love notes as we do the head nod when we pass each other on the streets. My brothers give each other pound on the downbeat, and the sisters kind of like the clap when they slap each other five when we walk by, stepping 1970s majorette high with our thick thighs. No, we don't make music for you, you cold, soulless bastard. When our uncles die, we serenade them with the brass of our chorus of wailing. We know when Big Mama sings, there's a leak in this old building and my soul has got to move. She's about to give up the ghost. But we know, her soul's music will live on in us. No, we will never again make music for you. Now our children are the sounds of our future, loud and strong. Their crescendo will shake the heavens and the earth, blasting through every lie you told and remembering every black body you sold. So when you hear Public Enemy, Miles Davis, and Luther Vandross being played together and in sync, you will know. So when you hear Public Enemy, Miles Davis, and Luther Vandross being played together and in sync, rumbling and rising through the streets, you will know your time has come, and there will be no white picket fences and no white sheets for you to hide behind, because your set is over. We are the headliners with the encore. We are taking the bows. We are the after party, and none of you are invited. You cold, soulless, rhythmless bastards. Woo. Yes. As stated, my name is Erica Streeter Hodge, and I am up here pretending that I'm not nervous and cold.
Doing a good job of it.
Have you turned the heat on?
No.
Yeah.
She's bringing it.
Thank you, Chris, for the invitation. I said yes immediately.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever told you no. So thank you all for having me, and thank you for listening. As stated, I'm reading from my collection of poetry, Soul, Fire, Prosa, Passion, and Peace. And in my style of writing, there's a range. I talk about various forms of love and life and grief and sex and wanting and sisterhood and womanhood. And when we created this, we tried to lay it out like an album, so you wouldn't cluster all the bangers. Just kind of roll up and down with it so you can play it over and over again. So I'm moving to something that might be a little more soft, but maybe not. my mind. I change my mind every time.
Go with your heart.
Some women don't care who enters them because they have not learned of their value. They have not learned of their holiness and how what they offer in their loving is a gift meant to be matched with the prized jewels of her beloved. I am not in this count, for I know that what I offer, when I offer myself, a sacred exchange is taking place because we are divine and meant to meet bliss in the heavens. We are creating new stars from the dust of our days. So when you enter me, you are gliding into a new world every time. When I spread my legs for you as wide as Orion's belt, you're diving into the blessed blackness from which all life springs. You see things brighter than before because your mind and body have swam in the sea of ancestral brilliance and wisdom. When we melt into one another, like the alchemist's metals, God becomes bigger and greater, and life becomes fuller, richer, because our blessed bodies are one as the universe intended. When I reach down to assist with entry, I'm not overstepping or wrongly taking control. I'm simply guiding you into the ecstasy that was meant just for you. See, you are my lover and I am yours, gripping you, squeezing you with my inner self, pouring my essence onto you, giving back the passion you give, shivering from the power in your thrust, screaming to the heavens so the angels know that love is being made and that their lessons have not been wasted, for we are grateful for the holy throne. The constellations we create, the stars that shoot across the skies can be seen by other lovers, and they make wishes on the sweat of our backs, for that's what they see streaking across the night sky. Our loving on fire. When you are ready and I mount up, I take the reins of the mythical Auriga and ride us into the place where magic meets magic, and we explode brighter than 1,000 bursting suns, and in that I rock myself to sleep in your arms and you in mine, where eternity begins.
There's the fire.
Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness, blah, blah, blah. What does that mean to me now? Now that I'm here in this abyss with cheeks pruned by my salty tears. I'm nauseated by the smell of myself and hating my youthful skin. I am trouble. My God, I am dismayed. When I walked into those halls of higher learning, I believed you. I feared only how great I'd become. Everything else was under my feet. I'm weaker now than any moment before in time. And thou art my strength. Oh, I question your greatness. Studying, working, ascending, only to be pulled into a betrayal of self by loneliness. I was so lonely. And he knew it. He smelled the desperation in my confidence. I will help thee. I will uphold thee. Mm-mm. He upheld me with that motel mattress after he'd fooled me long enough and breathed on me long enough and sweated on me long enough to leave me with this monster in my blood and this poison in my mind. What could have saved me from him and from you? I am wrapped in your promises. I was wrapped in your promises and walking in your way. If this is where holiness takes his saints, if this is what meekness means, if this is what kneeling in submission feels like, I don't want the right hand or the left hand of your righteous nothing. This sacrifice must end. Should I lance my heart to release this red anguish, or taste all the tiny gems that will quiet the whole of me? I will not tell. But if your disciples tell you that they smelled me in the breeze, or saw my face in the flowers, or felt me in the thunder, you may want to believe them. Trouble don't last always, you know. You want to hear something?
You know which one I want to hear. I don't think you have it on your. Do you have it on your? I have it.
Remember?
I have
I have
it. Okay.
Because I know Michelle knows my work, so I figured I would ask her. I didn't pull it up, but there you go. Let me find that. This piece was written last year in preparation for me hosting the Juneteenth celebration at PSC. It came from the understanding of the importance of my people remembering who we are, everything about us. It is entitled Remember. A lesson forgotten is a blessing buried. A legacy forgotten is a culture erased. This is why we will remember. We will remember so we won't be the shame of our ancestors. We will remember because we've seen what forgetting looks like. We will remember because our families must be put back together. Remember. Remember the parts that make us whole. Our godly minds, our sacred body temples, our spirits of redemption and revelation. Remember our children, the hope of our future and proof that God is real. Remember our elders, the roots that nourish us. Remember our blood, though spilled and tainted by savages, it's still full of purpose and is the carrier of memories our souls won't forget. Remember our peace remains, though they continue to war against all they know we are and can be. Remember, no matter what they tell us, we've always been here. Remember the truth that we will never be destroyed. Remember that our souls run over with glory and grace and gratitude. Remember we are the image of the character of God. Remember the night fires we couldn't burn in the dark nights on the road to freedom. It was the heat of the passion to live freely that lit the way. Remember that the higher ground on which we stand are the shoulders of those older who made a way for us to live bolder. Remember our fighters. Remember our fallen. Remember those who chose to fly free by jumping into the sea. Remember we've got the connection to the one who makes a way out of no way. We have always known and been the way, the truth, and the life. Remember, we carry on no matter the plight. We greet the day no matter how dark the night. Remember, we are good people who make good food, good times, and good love. Remember our laughter, because we funny, and we gonna laugh. We gonna laugh at the pastor, your pappy, and the pimp. We gonna laugh at the drunk one, the bougie one, and the one with the limp. Ain't nobody safe. We gonna laugh. Remember our games. The spades, the jacks, the dice, and the dozens. The kickball, the marbles, and red light, green light with your cousins. Remember our beats. They come from a place much deeper than the bass of a drum. Oh, remember our music. The Geechee stomp, the gospel clap, the jazz, the finger snaps. Our Fela Kuti, our Angelique Kidjo, Sarah Vaughan and Satchmo, our Donna Summer, our Prince, and our Tupac. Remember our beats. They run deeper than the creator's hearts. Remember our dance. Our tap, moonwalk, and our Humpty dance too. Our ballet, our lean with it, rock with it, our swing out, glide, and electric slide. Remember what makes our hearts speak. Remember what makes our hearts beat. It is you. It is me. It is our ancient ancestry. Remember us. The souls of us. Remember. Before I read the last piece, which is kind of my favorite, one of my favorite pieces, because it's fun to me. It just feels good all over me. I have, a while back I received a message from somebody from the other side. And as all of us have experienced the transitions of loved ones, and have and are experiencing the snuffing out of the innocent and the downtrodden and the marginalized. Our ancestors have this to say: grieve only a little while, for there is no love lost. We shared the best of ourselves with you, and that is to be treasured. Colors fade as do memories, but not life itself. It only transforms from what it is to what it's going to be, and that is never wrong. Live in the practice of gratitude, for there is a part of each of you that is the way it is because we experience each other, and saying thank you only makes room for more. We are spirit. We are spirits within your spirit. So give forth and keep on loving. This piece was inspired by one of the ending scenes in the play/movie for Colored Girls. If you've seen it, there's a scene of them on the roof talking about their love. My love is to this, my love is to that. And it's proclamations of what it is. It was sparked from that. This is Throwback Love Thing. I used to not talk about my love style, but all these folks trying to tell me how to give it, have it, do it. This is my love, and it's to me to be done like you. It's to me to look like, talk like, walk like you. So to those behind and to those to come and those who think they are my right now, my love is to everything to be handled like it's nothing. Too pretty to be called ugly. too sexy to be touched like a $5 hoe. It's even too all that for your bag of chips. My love is too Holy Ghost for you to be shouting at me. Temple, mosque, synagogue divine. Too skyscraper, too mountaintop, too high even for your ambition to climb. Too round the clock, too all the time. My love too timeless for me to be waiting on you. So Kama Sutra, so red light district, too sweet stank raw doggy style to be fucked with. You gotta be right to make it come quick. You gotta be a little crooked to make me bend. My love is too daylight to be hidden, too wild to be tamed. It's even too Hollywood to even call it fame. Richer than Wall Street, sweeter than fudge, too righteous for the judge. Rings more bells than church steeples. Too back bench for the front row people. This ain't no pearl clutching love. It ain't no handkerchief across the knees. Ain't no finger raised, tiptoe out the door kind of love. I got some hallelujahs in the front and some soul food in the back kind of love. My love too loud for the confession booth. Sometimes too much for the truth. My love too sweet potato pie to be thrown back in my face. My love is too thick for your thin excuses. Too warm for your cold heart. Too heavy to drop. It's too colorful to be made up. It's so hot. You gotta blow it before you sip from my cup. My love is too real, too fierce, too fire, too ice, too earth, too moon, too stars, too outer space. Too many light years ahead for you.
Beautiful. All right, another big hand for Erica. Told you, you love her. And Erica is at Pensacola Poets, and it's every Tuesday at
Every Tuesday, as we gather about 6 and we start closer to 7.
So y'all should go. So thank you again, Erica, for coming out here, and thank you for this reading. So I got a couple poems I was going to read here. This one here is one that I wrote, and this one is doesn't have a title. I wrote this a long time ago and put it in this book that I did several years ago, To Your Health. I think that might be the only copy left. Maybe there might be one or two copies left, but at any rate, this is one poem. And I wrote this for another war that turns out is just as relevant. I want to explain that I'm not the one, that I don't agree with what's going on, that this isn't in my name, that they're killing you. But how would you understand that? I want to reason with you, to tell you that we're not all bloodthirsty savages on the hunt for crude, laced with flesh, but why would you believe me? I want to tell your neighbors that when they hear the air raid sirens, that when they run for their lives and when they're praying, that one of the hundreds of cruise missiles flying over the clear night sky won't have their name on it, that I'm crying too. I want you to believe me. I want you to believe that I don't want this to happen, and it kills me knowing it's coming and I can't stop it, that all I can do is write a poem that you won't see, and that it's not enough to stop them from killing you, that they're killing me when they kill you, and that nothing I do will be enough to stop it, and that this is what kills me. And this one is not mine, but it's by Mahmoud Darwish. Mahmoud Darwish is probably the most famous Palestinian poet. So if you don't know his work, then you should. If you're here at the last one of these events, my friend Rima, who I just learned today is actually the niece of Iman, had read one of his most famous poems. If you have a book that is a world literature book, almost certainly Darwish is in there, and this one is one poem I decard is almost always in there. But I came across this other book that has a number of his other poems that I wasn't as familiar with, so I just wanted to read one of these poems. This is called Earth Poem. A dull evening in a run-down village, eyes half asleep, I recall 30 years and 5 wars. I swear the future keeps my ear of corn, and the singer croons about a fire, and some strangers in the evening is just another evening, and the singer croons. And they asked him, "Why do you sing?" And he answered, "I sing because I sing." And they searched his chest, but could only find his heart. And they searched his heart, but could only find his people. And they searched his voice, but could only find his grief. And they searched his grief, but could only find his prison. And they searched his prison, but could only see themselves in chains. And that's Mahmoud Darwish. Now I want to introduce one of my friends, Munir. Munir's going to come up and talk for a little bit. And Mahmoud is a filmmaker and also a writer too. Mahmoud?
Munir.
I'm sorry.
You said it first.
I didn't read this.
Hey, everyone. My name is Munir Sher. I'm a filmmaker now. I was a videographer, but I had to spring into action because I have 150 family members in Gaza. My own grandma still lives there, along with cousins and uncles and aunts. It's been over 150 days now. Like I'm kind of out of words, and at the same time, I'm happy to be in a space with people who will listen, because that's hard to find. So thank you guys for being here. I made a film called Gaza is Our Home. Amidst the genocide, by myself, with my sister and my family. It's an hour long, and it doesn't even scratch the surface of the first 60 days of this conflict. I've lost over 33 family members. I just found out yesterday 2 of my family members, my cousin Alat, is missing. He was last seen in his apartment, and that apartment's now burned down. It's hard to come up with words anymore, right? But there's a lot of hope still left. And every time I talk to my family, they ask me how I'm doing before I get to ask them. And we're 150 days into this. So, as my film will announce, I hope if you watch it, that it was my obligation to make that film. It is a result of my own privilege. I had the ability to do so, and that means that we all have something in our ability to do. And I think in of itself is a testament to the Palestinian people themselves, each and every one of them. I was going to share something that puts it into perspective, the amount of torment that has happened. This is my cousin Sarah. On October 12th, she sent me this video. I can't get over it, because even when I listened to it in my documentary, I can't believe that this was only 5 days into the conflict. And it's been 150 now. I don't want to die, I don't want to die. It's inhumane. They won't stop bombing. They're about to destroy our home. They're about to destroy our home. What should I do? What should I do? My heart is beating so fast. I don't know what am I going to do. My heart is beating so fast. I want to know, this is what I'm really mad about. I want to know, where are the men, the real men that are supposed to be leading people, who don't make it their mission to save this poor, innocent, beautiful child. We cannot let weak men think, these cowards think, that they have the upper hand at any point. They are despicable, tiny ants. And that's why they do what they do. That's why they destroy worlds. I get frustrated with so much that's happening. And yet I still know that we as people can come together. And I still have hope in all of us to right the wrongs that are occurring and to never allow these types of injustices in any part of the world to occur. There's more than enough ability to do so, and it's the lies of the same people that lie about why they're doing as they're doing a genocide that infect a society with no hope in each other or in community or in people. That's the same entity, if you realize, the same entity that's lying about the numbers, that won't talk about the real issues, about how the Palestinian people have lived, how my own family have lived in Gaza, that have been lying about everything in society in so many ways and done so much more damage to our own people. Like, to say this stuff is almost unheard of at this point. I'm trying my best to travel to show this movie because it just tells the truth that I had to present, because I was not going to wait for some news article, some news reporter, somebody up there to tell my story. And there's so many more untold stories. And my hope is that with Gaza as our home, I'm going to continue to tell their stories until all the homes are rebuilt. I wrote a poem, but before I do that, I want to read Haile Selassie. I can't say that well, but throughout history, it has been the inaction of those who could have acted, the indifference of those who should have known better, the silence of the voice of justice when it mattered most. This has made it possible for evil to triumph. Then until this philosophy, which holds one race superior and another inferior, is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, that until the no longer first-class and second-class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is no more significant than the color of his eyes. A qualified man with vision, unmoved by daily selfish interests, will be led to right decisions by his conscience. And in general, a man who knows from whence he comes and where he's going will cooperate with his fellow human beings. He will not be satisfied with merely doing his ordinary duties, but will inspire others with his good example. You are being watched by the nation, and you should realize that you will satisfy it if you do good. But on the contrary, if you do evil, it will lose its hope and confidence in you. Selassie. And I made this poem in a rush, but I believe it's to be true. History will interrogate all of us about the screams of Gaza's children. It will ask us how. It will ask us why. It will never forget our silence. When they play back the tape, and if our voice is undetectable, they will ask to see our hands. On them will be blood. For Gaza is more than just a place on a map. It is my home. It's your home. It's our home. And its victims aren't just numbers. It is actually my family. And now, it is your family. Its victims are our family. In the eyes of its children, we must see our own reflection. But yet too often we turn away, ignoring their pleas for our full attention. We think we will not feel its effect. But I promise you, history will not forget. The lives cut short by violence, the dreams left shattered. So let us not sit in silence. Let's no longer ignore its cries. Let us raise our voices high, for Gaza is the home of mine. And together we cannot let it die. I ask that you defy the desire to simply whine, and instead defy the silence of those who just want to enjoy some wine. For in the face of injustice, you must fight for humanity. Because I promise, history will remember the choices that are made. So let us choose standing in defense of Gaza, whose love is true grace. For silence in the face of genocide is not an option. It's a betrayal of humanity. Only a coward would try. So let us be a voice for those who still cry, and make it our mission to get the chance to fly and rebuild the homes our own tax dollars demised, and stand in solidarity where history's justice lies. Thank you. I could go on and on and on about some of the stories that I've heard. And it's not in order to make us upset or to make us lose hope like it's all for nothing. They are the strongest people I know. And that's the real disgrace about it, because they're being tested so harshly because of how strong they are. I'm telling you, the person who's looking down on those ants, he's a coward. He's so scared of the actual men on the ground there. I hear it all the time. Real men are only made in Gaza, period. And it's true. They are some of the most honorable people you could ever even imagine, and it's a disgrace that they're continuing to have this happen to them. So we must not lose hope, though. But we have to defy the silence of those who just want to enjoy some wine. That's all they want to do. While we know I'm on a mission to go rescue my cousin Sarah. Why is it is it because it's my blood? That's why it matters? No. If Sarah was any little girl who's asking to be saved, it's a man's duty to do what he has to do to save them. And not encourage the opposite out of fear. I'm just happy to be able to share my thoughts with you guys, though. So
What's your movie film?
it's called Gaza is Our Home.
Okay.
You can go to www.gazaisourhome.com. I'm traveling to different universities. I think Renee is here. She invited me to go to University of Lafayette to share it. I'm trying to go all across the country to screen it. I need more views on it. I need it to be out there. I need it to get out. Honestly, any support helps too. There's a donation button on there. Spread it around, and I'm hoping to have some more screenings. I think I'll be doing one soon in Pensacola as well. So, but yeah, it's a painful project because it only covers like the first 60 days, and so much has happened since then. And I'm like, even to try to produce it, I have to try to believe there's still hope, because that is the opposite is what they want. They want me to think, oh, it's across the world, don't worry about it. No, I'm pretty sure it's just as they're able to get billions of dollars for their military, we should be able to get billions of dollars to rebuild homes. Like, what kind of world do we live in where we can't have that be an option? I'm not going to stop going and spreading this truth, hopefully. So if you guys want to support this, then yeah, check out my website.
I'm going to use this opportunity to pass this around again. So if anyone would like to contribute to this, that would be great. You already have that's cool. And this is again for the Palestinian Children's Welfare Fund, Relief Fund. And this money will, there's one way that you can help in this situation. I'm going to read one poem here. This is while the thing's going around there. And again, thank you for all your generous donations. This is one I wrote called My America, and this is, I think for the poets in the house, you might be able to get this one or know where it comes from. I think it's an old one for me, but y'all probably haven't heard this stuff except for Jamie. So it's new for me. All right, I wrote this a long time ago, but again, it's still relevant. My America. America, I've given you everything, and you've given me nothing in return. America, $1.73, April 6, 2003. You're making me crazy. Go fuck yourself with your oil wells and your cluster bombs, daisy cutters, and mothers of all bombs. I don't feel right anymore. Please leave me alone. America, when will you be what you said you were? America, when will you love the world again? When will you stop making all those graves? America, why do your libraries have spies in them now? When will you be worthy of all your angry poets? America, when will you send food to Cuba? America, I'm sick of all you want from me. When can I go to the grocery store and not have to steal to eat? And when can I pay for my adding doctor bills with my good looks? After all, aren't we the perfect ones, the rich ones, not the other guys? Your cars are too much for me. We don't need those cars. We don't need those war machines. Whoa, man. You make me want to be a saint. There has to be another answer than the one that you've given me. Ryan is in Mexico, and I don't know if he's coming back. Are you really acting serious, or is this some sort of joke that you're playing on the world? I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, and I refuse to give up this obsession over where you went wrong. America, stop shoving. You're going to hurt someone. America, the palm leaves are falling. I can't read the newspaper anymore. Every day you get away with murder. America, I feel sentimental for the communists. America, I used to vote for you, and now I'm sorry. I get drunk every chance I get. I sit in my room every day and stare at the walls. I sit on my porch every day and stare at the graffiti. When I go to Little Saigon, I try to speak their language. When I walk down the block, I pass the drag queens, and I wish I was one of them. There is going to be trouble for you one day. My heart's set on it. You should have seen me reading Berkman. You should have seen us watching Billy Jack. You would have cringed at all the parts we were cheering. The crazy thing is my psychiatrist agrees with most of what I say. She even reads my poetry. I won't say the pledge, and I won't pray in schools or anywhere for that matter. I have a different vision for you. America, I still haven't told you what you did to my father when he got out of jail. I'm talking to you. Are you going to let your entire life be run by the New York Times? I'm obsessed with the Times. I read it every day. The obituaries on page 825 draw me in until I can't take it anymore. It hides past the peanut stands and the arcade news. I read it in the hidden corners of the downtown library. I read it at the Krispy Kreme 4 blocks away. It tells me I'm in trouble. It tells me my businessmen are having a field day right now. It tells me people are wearing fashionable clothes. People are still going to the movies, and it occurs to me that I am a part of you, and you are a part of me. I feel sick again talking to you. The Middle East is rising against me. I haven't got an Arab's chance in Baghdad. I better think of my national treasures. My national treasures include a drawer full of antidepressants, some obsolete records, and 10 notebooks with 10,000 pages of embarrassing poems that no one will ever see as they go away at the speed of light. I haven't even said anything about all those Muslim prisoners in Guantanamo Bay, or my friend James, who's getting kicked out of his house tomorrow. Where does James fit into the budget? I've abolished the Taliban to make Afghanistan free for the heroin dealers and crazed warlords. France is next to go. My ambition is to be the president so I can end it all, even though I am an atheist. America, how can I write down your mood swings? I will continue like Sam Walton and Bill Gates, like Coca-Cola and Starbucks. I will sell you your rope at $10 a yard and make millions before you're through. America, free Leonard Peltier. America, free John Walker Lynn. America, free Frank Padilla. America, save the world from yourself. America, Mumia still must not die. America, I am the Wobblies, the Zapatistas, the Intifada. America, I was 13 when my mom took me to Catholic worker meetings, and we would make little ships and candles on them to remember hundreds of thousands you killed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We were so sincere then. You didn't know what a good thing that was for me in 1986. My Aunt Anne went to Russia and Cuba in the 60s and Ireland during the Troubles. She was very proud that you spied on her and that she has a file. Her letters to the editor burnt holes in the newspaper. America, you know you don't want to go to war again. It's those bad Iraqis. It's those Iraqis and the French and the Russians and the rest of the world. The world wants us to eat. The world wants to eat us alive. The UN's gone power mad. She wants us to stop driving our SUVs, wants us to take Manhattan. They want the Reader's Digest translated into Arabic. They want Walmart in Kabul and Baghdad. They want to run our McDonald's and our own gas stations, and they'll know how much cheap beer we buy every day. There's no good. That's no good. They want us to change our way of life. They want our homeless off the streets. They want us to stop shopping. They want us to stop driving. They want us to stop voting like we ever did. But that's besides the point. They don't want us to have the freedoms to starve, to get evicted, work 3 jobs, get out or don't get abortions, wave our little flags and tie yellow ribbons around our necks. America, this is very serious. America, this is what I'm reading in your newspapers. This is what I'm getting from CNN. America, are you sure about this? I better get down to business. It's true, I'm not joining the army to fight anyone. I don't know if I'll ever do this for you ever again. Besides, I have flat feet and I'm a mental case anyway. America, I'm putting my queer shoulder to the wheel. This is for you. That's one when you pick it, you realize it's a little too long.
Ginsburg, right?
It is Ginsburg,
Yeah,
yes,
we
yes,
should
yes.
say.
Yes, if you look at Ginsburg, then I went over there and I translated Ginsburg into my own life.
Yes.
I'm a translator by David knows. David did one of my translated books. So I had this one reading here, and this is from Leanne Brown's Polyverse. And this is a reading that she probably doesn't even recognize. Dear reader, waking up late and messy. Thank you in advance for reading this book. Love, Leanne Brown, New Orleans, Louisiana. I got this from a bookstore, and I love it because I wasn't actually at this, and I ended up getting this. It's to Dear Reader, and I don't think I've ever gotten a book before where it was already autographed to a Dear Reader with an entire inscription. So I was excited to have this here, and I'll get you to fill this out again if you don't mind. All right. So our next reader tonight is Leanne Brown. Leanne Brown is coming to us from New York. She read the other day over at Pensacola State College. Probably some of you were over at the reading at Pensacola State. She is an incredible poet and has put out a number of different books, including this book, Polyverse, which is a really amazing book. But besides Polyverse, Leanne Brown is also, besides a poet, Leanne Brown is also a publisher. She runs the publishing company Tender Buttons, and Tender Buttons has put out an incredible amount of poetry books by a number of different women authors and who identify as women, and just a lot of incredible stuff. Some stuff I'm more familiar with is Bernadette Mayer. So I know many of you from Pensacola are familiar with Bernadette Mayer because Jamie Jones was gracious enough to bring Bernadette into our lives and almost turned Bernadette into an honorary Pensacolian. And with that, came so many other worlds through Bernadette. Opened up so many different worlds of poets and poetry to us. So with all of that, this is where this comes to tonight, because with Leanne Brown being over here, this is one of the doors that was opened up by Bernadette Mayer to come into Pensacola and come into our lives over here. So we're incredibly proud, incredibly grateful to have Leanne Brown come here tonight and read. So Leanne Brown, everybody. Oh, of course you can.
Thank you. It's a very powerful night, very great poetry. Thank you for that work. And that speech about Gaza for both of y'all. It's just very moving. It's really hard to actually read after it, and I'm very moved by being here, and thank you for the invite. One thing I think about poetry is that, one thing I love about poetry is playfulness. And and that's when I see that little girl, on that tape, I'm like, that girl needs to have a world safe enough to play in. It just breaks my heart that she can't, right now. And I hope, I'm sure somehow she finds a way to play. Somehow in the day, I hope she does. And I hope we can find a way to make that happen.
She will.
Yeah.
She will.
Thank
She
you.
will, okay.
I want to help. Sorry, it's just so hard to read after that.
No, sorry.
Sorry. But, anyway.
You want a hug?
Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, no. I just thought about. I mean, it's funny because I feel like I have this, like I said, this love for play, and I think every human deserves that, right? And I think that's in my work, and but every once in a while I do try to write like a more overtly political poem, and there's different ways I try to do that. So I'm going to read just one or two of those just to show you one of the ways I play. This is one way. Okay, this is pledge. I pledge allergy to the flail of the United States of Amigo and to the reputation for which it stands. One national park under Godmother, indivisible with lice and kebab for allegiance. I pledge allegory to the flagellant of the United Statistic of ammunition and to the reproduction for which it stands. One naughtiness under good, indivisible with lick and juvenile for anatomy. I pledge a lalomorph to the flagelliform of the United State-of-the-Art of American English and to the repudiation for which it stands. One nationalism under go-getter, indivisible with library science and juvenile court for Allah. On my hop, I will try to serve Godmother, my coup de grace, and to live by the gizmo scowl lawyer. On my hoodlum, I will try to serve Goose, my coupon, and to live by the gladioli scrap heap laxative. On my honors of war, I will try to serve go-go dance, my country music, and to live by the give and take scramble lawn. So now that I read this, it's in, like, I feel like it's in a new light too. Part of it was like that these weird political meanings come out when you do like a random chance operation on the Pledge of Allegiance. Like what's hidden underneath, you know? So all this weird stuff kind of like every time now I'm reading it, it feels weird because it's like honors of war, like but it's like it's sort of trying to show that hypocrisy almost in that pledge. Like what are we pledging to, But the other one I was thinking about was when I wrote. When the Iran-Iraq war broke out, and I was in New York, and just really young, and let me see if I can find it. It just like how it like sort of intrudes, like the reality intrudes on your daily life. That you're like almost like you're sort of in this bubble, like you said, drinking wine, like being, full of pleasure and trying to live your life, and then it sort of hits you that stuff is happening. So there was a poem I tried to record that feeling of. Realization. So where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, 42. So I wrote this when I was pretty young, but it just made me think of it. So, the day the war started, my cat catches a baby mouse. I take birth control pill number 3. Kim says a cloud in the shape of a cross was spotted over Washington, D.C., and that Barbara Bush's broken leg is a sign. I go to the Russian baths. A woman washes me. Someone has written on her steamy mirror, visualize peace. I go upstairs to have borscht. The television says the war has officially begun. Numerous very large explosions. The first weapons are tomahawks, $1 million apiece. This according to Ed Peck and Gary Sick as we speak before our eyes. And I'm just trying to record that feeling, and now I need a hanky. Sorry. Anyway, let me just go back to the back room. Okay, so I heard that Scott likes the Fugs, right?
He does like
Yeah.
the Fugs. Yeah.
I'll end with that when he comes back.
Okay.
But this idea of working with other texts, working with other thank you. This is the second time I've cried this week with poetry reading. That emotion must be welling up all over the place. Thank you. Okay, so I like to play with other people's writing and just redo it like I did the pledge, and I've been working with sonnets. And I've published Bernadette Mayer's book, Sonnets. I'm going to donate a copy of Sonnets and this book, Cunt Norton, that where Dodie Bellamy cunts up the Norton anthology. Different poems, like there's Cunt Blake, Cunt Plogue, Cunt Elliott, Cunt Ashbury, there's all these different, I'm not going to read one of those, they're long, but I want to donate these to your archive.
Awesome.
So y'all can read that. But I'm going to just open at random a Bernadette Mayer sonnet before I start, because then I'll read you some of my own sonnets. Okay. Okay. Sonnet. Everyone makes love to their bereft and go. I'd like to know you right this second. But you wouldn't dare come here for the fear I have of eating this open sandwich I've got. I forget, and you've got to, I forget and not copy. Tomorrow the two identical, different Dutch paintings will not look the fruits the way they look today. Thinking of you as if at the beginning of something I do, I will not lie down. You act as if you were married, thee who comes by whenever you please. I'm not either. You called early, a lot to say, I forget the plot. It was, we are alike now, it's late, you're asleep, I'm awake. So these are like great love poems to all kinds of people of both genders. And that was very revolutionary at the time, and now it's more commonplace to have. But in poetry, this is my book called Sonics. I'm just going to try out some of them on you. I'm trying to finish this book. I've been writing them for a long time, and I'm trying to hone it down. So I put 4 loves. And epigraph, Bernadette Mayer. I'll write you sonnets till you come home from school again. When in doubt, translate, says Barbara Guest. And Sly Stone says, I want to thank you for letting me be myself again. And Victor Hernandez Cruz, sonic, space like stars. So of course I'm playing with sonnets and sonics. Sound. Prologue. Humans all, come hear my song. I'm here to conjure, figures form. Gather round me, hear me out. I'll tell you now what's come about. To the east, which way is east? I don't even know.
That's south.
That way,
East,
straight
to
ahead.
the east, I cast erudition. To the south, I gather vines. To the west, I sense a vision. To the north, I gather time. The guts of mystery now spread out to those who are young, not lost, but found. We choose to live here, not in fear. Towers of Babel now crumble down. Amethyst rock in the climbing wall, borderless, or we all will fall.
Yeah.
And then I started on like playing with the Shakespeare sonnets. So this is sonnet number 1. If you open Shakespeare sonnets, this would be the one of the procreation sonnets where he is trying to convince this young man to reproduce, so he will leave a beautiful copy of himself for the future generations. And so people speculate, well, maybe he was in love with that beautiful young man. We don't know. So procreation sonnet after Shakespeare sonnet number 1. Everybody wants to make babies with the hottest beauties, so their rose will never die. At full bloom, while on the brink of seed, I want some child to hold up my memory. What all eyes see belongs to them alone. Stop fanning the flames of all your flaws. Stop creating lack where true multiplicity lies. You're acting as your own worst enemy. You, now Earth's Christmas decoration. You, the early sign of tinsel spring, and within your own hidden bud, satisfaction. Tender girl, you're wasting it by being so selfish. Feel sorry for the world. Give it up. Don't risk the grave. It's time. And this one's number 2, Shakespeare. Blood rose. If 50 is the new 40, I must be only 38. I could get rid of those lines, said the Botox clinician. So can I, says my sister outlaw, pulling down her brow. Don't wear juicy couture, look good in jeans anyhow. If someone asks, who's that pretty woman in the photo? Where are those legendary afternoons whiled away in bed? I tell them, you're looking at her. Even though my shadows are as dark as my mother's, I'm not ashamed or stingy with stories of my past wildness. So how bright praise your beauties shine when you can answer, that's my kid over there. All past hurts and pleasures swept away, their beauty beyond compare. You'll glow, growing as not waxing old. New roses bloom, even when it's so damn cold. And this is for Nathaniel Dorsky, one of my favorite mentors and filmmaker. He's a filmmaker. He does these beautiful poetic films that are really like poems. They're not narrative. They sort of go from one shot to another, and they're linked by the shot is linked by a color or emotion, or just a pattern, or just a way of seeing a person. So Nathaniel Dorsky. It's called Kodachrome Sonnet. And if you've ever seen Kodachrome film, you see it's bright green. It has these bright greens, bright reds. They're actually bringing Kodachrome back, I've heard.
Really?
I saw today. Yeah, today I saw they're making Super 8 movie cameras again. Kodak said they are, so I can't believe it. But fast in film means sensitive. The iris scarily opening like your eye in the dark. The lyric impulse, the sadness in your chest when grain of film or sand moves. How colors can be similar to emotional states. You say something like spirit in public and earlier to me in a different but related way. Babies are about to be born. Almost now a sonnet water, the form is torn. And what's weird about that is I married a man last name Torn 20 years later after I wrote this poem. It's like, that's super weird.
Send that to me.
Huh?
Send that to me.
Okay, I will.
Okay, good.
I'll give it to you. You're good. Oh, the film. Yeah, the filmmaker reads that one. Okay, what else should I read? I go into a weird zone, so I gotta figure out how many minutes I have left. Okay. Okay, I'll read this for Jamie because it's a little bit New York schooly kind of feeling. We met in, we met where?
New Orleans.
New Orleans, right? But then we hung out in New York a lot. So I think of him like, we have a lot of New York school interests. But this is about Elio Schneemann. Yeah. Elio Schneemann, the son of George Schneemann and Katie Schneemann, who was a great poet. And let's see, I hope this comes across in this story. I'm trying to get this story across. Okay. There's an image in here. Okay, Elio Auden. In Würzburg, I drop raspberry juice from a silver ladle, and a stain slowly spreads across the linen table, where I'm a guest at the midday meal of a family whose language I don't know. Misty Street, East Village morning. I run into Elio, 1 block from my St. Mark's sublet. Misty, he's walking against the rain, railing at these construction workers who just trashed a plaque denoting the house where Auden had lived. Never alone, was it, one big party? Access to all poets, art of the everyday, threadbare, often posing in the nude. There unraveled a hole in the back of his navy soft blue cashmere sweater. This is called Upanishad Birth Sonnet. Okay, Upanishad Birth Sonnet. So, recitation is water, origin is water. She gave birth to what? Breathing water from the unreal. Lead me to the real. The head of my child clearly is the dawn. Crowning over the horizon looms my mother at my right side, my husband at my left. From the darkness, lead me to the light. Through the very eye of what's no longer here, manifesting clear. Beyond pain like moon, beyond death, a sideways eye in my mirror. In this statement there is nothing obscure. The whole world is nothing but food, little one, and you have procured it for yourself by singing. That's my, so the sideways eye is the giving birth. But in the mirror, you can see the birth. That's clear. Okay, I'm going to skip a few and see what else I want to read. Okay, this one is Sonnet 18 after Shakespeare. Let's see. This is the one that most people know, but shall I compare these to a summer's day, thou art more fair, that one. So it's like sonnet, okay. Have you thought about becoming summer? No, you're even better. More balmy. Those crazy storms do shake spring's buds, and global hotmouth's contract runs out as we speak. Nowadays the sun's a time bomb, a cinder in our eyes. Too many times we find the foundation rubbed out as every equality swirls around the dreamer. By chance operation or cell mutation cut. Hell no, you'll never be less hot to me. You'll never lose your sudden shimmer aura. Death won't invite you to his shady party. All this radical divinity will resemble you as long as we're not flooded out that long. This poem makes a baby pout. I'm so tweaky for it. It really helps me to read them to know what I need to do to it. Okay, which one else should I do? Not that one. Okay, acupuncture. This is called acupuncture. I love acupuncture. It's one of my great pleasures. And it starts with a line from Shakespeare, but then it goes off. Okay, acupuncture. When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, which seems to happen on a daily basis, inserted here into meridians of care, the twist is what does it through my hair. Crown of head, a beam of light release, face down in a doll hospital for very large dolls. Fixed points, astrocartography of this body, and I am a city, a world, and I float to a cosmos, octopus arm around me, neural electric net to wake the bone, road, equator, pulse of plexus solar, earthquake spasm and hurtful solar melt. If only so, the body of the world could be healed this way. Silver needles in her gyres. Okay, I'm going to read two more sonnets, and then I guess I'll end with the song. So this one's, it's okay. It's not too bad. Rachel's worried about my hanky. She's always been taking care of me this trip. She's like, are you okay? Like, do you have a hat? Do you have a jacket? Okay. Purple Sonnet, Bernadette. Collaboration for Bernadette Mayer by Leanne Brown and Lainey Brown, good friend. This is when we knew she was dying and we were going to visit her. We were thinking about our next visit. Rain drips down Wallingford's Possum Hollow, drops purple, each contain a letter. Ribbons surround two brass rings as two poets on purple couch sonneting. Sonnetina, libertine, you're a queen. Inside every prism in very spheric water. Astral halls we dwell in outside our heads are inscribed with your imperturbable verse. Bubble tents near the pillow beds where rest is unanswerable. Mammals, we tingle. Wash faces with paws. Pause to listen to foxes and flowers pushing through late winter. The bulbs wake up. Each drop wakes inside our central eye. Thank you. That was a damn poem, yeah. Okay. And then, this is when I tried, my first idea when I did the book, I was going to do more sound play. Like I do a lot of homophonic translations where you like translate something from another language into English that you maybe don't even know the original language. Like you just try to figure out what it would be if it was in English, like the sound. So sometimes you can do it from an old English to a new English. So I was playing with those kind of sounds, and I did one on a Shakespeare sonnet. And I tried to be like more, expansive with it. So, full many a wild ass boulevard. Full many a wild ass boulevard have I been in the midst of city's queenly eye. Let me start again. It's like, because it's trying to sound like Shakespeare, but not be Shakespeare. Kind of feel like that. Okay. Full many a wild ass boulevard have I been in the midst of city's queenly eye. Frenching the nightlark face, the alleys steep, burnished dire river with earthly experiment, a noun, perchance the leader skies to side, with ugly ribcage sit on his heavenly face, and from the war-torn world his visual light hide, steal away unqueenly to the west side, without grace. Even so, my son, one early in the morning did pine, with all trumpeting, splinters on the prowl, and out back, he has but 1 hour to be mine. The Regina Clout hates making hymns from mean owl, Yeti hymns for dissing my gloves to white distaff, sums of the woods may abstain, whining, heaven's sums abstaining. There's two more little, really tiny ones I wanted to read. I'm trying to, I know the guy that puts the poems on the subway in New York, and I've always wanted to have a poem on the subway, so I've been trying to write some that might work for the subway. So these are two that I'm trying. They need some work still, but simply, like something that somebody could read just sitting there on the subway. Okay. Simply too wild for our own, we come from south and middle places all over this turning world in search of freedom, of a vibratory quilt of song, an overlapping neighborhood. We belong to ourselves again, as in our dream. We join the strings, we sing the throng. Woo! And then this one's a little playful one when it's like mishearing. When you hear the announcer on the subway, I mishear things a lot, but I guess it reveals what I thought I heard. The first line, the title is "The Alligators at the Center of the Platform." You and I are riding here. You're reading that ancient technology called a book, or divining, scrolling in your glowing corner. Make way for me to sway and look. The elevators at the center of the platform. Okay. And now I'm gonna go back here.
What's going on behind there?
Please don't do that. I'm trying to make my entrance. Okay, but the setup is, okay, Allen Ginsberg was dying, and my husband-to-be was writing a sunflower on a door frame in L.A., and he didn't know that Allen Ginsberg was dying. So that was one of our things that happened to us, that he had a feeling that something was happening. He wrote Sunflower. If anybody knows Blake. And I love the Fugs, that group that I heard you love. So this is a setting of Blake's Sunflower by Ed Sanders. And the reason I'm like into the doorway and hiding behind the curtain is I thought it'd be fun to start when you don't see me. Because it's called acousmatic. Because you can just hear the voice and not see me. But you already know what I look like. But also, it's because it's the lintel, the door. It's the word sublime. It means you go through the door, because you're over the lintel. It's like the etymology of the sublime. Wait, you're going under the lintel. You're getting through the door. So Blake is sublime. So that's what I'm trying to act. So I'm just going to
start high. Ah, sunflower, weary of time, who countest the steps of the sun, seeking after that sweet golden climb, where the traveler's journey is done, where the youth pines away with desire, and the pale virgins shrouded in snow, oh, arise from their graves and aspire where my sunflower wishes to go.
All right, big hand for Leanne.
For books in just a minute, I'm gonna run to the bar and get some. Some of her books will be for sale in just a minute.
Okay, cool.
Right, I'll go get them.
All right, so if you didn't hear that, Jamie said that he has some of Leanne's books that he'll go to the car and grab in a few minutes. Anybody wants to get a copy? Also, I see Jasmine back there, and I think Jasmine had some petitions. Am I wrong about that? Yeah.
And me too.
Just really quick, it's beautiful seeing everybody out here tonight. I wanted to come and support, and while I was here, I also wanted to bring some petitions that are being gathered. We have a deadline of April 8th. These are petitions to save the Malcolm Young Community Center that the city just voted to demolish. Right now, there is a restraining order to try to delay their decision or their demolishment of the community center. So right now, we're just trying to get 4,138 signatures so we can get the city to try to reconsider their decision. So in the back, if you would like to sign, if you live in the zip codes 32501 through 32505, parts of 32505. So if you have a black trash can, and you're a registered voter, you'll be able to sign the petition. So thank y'all.
All right, so I want to give a big hand for Jamie Jones. Erica Streeterhard. Leanne Brown. And also, I want to give a really big special thanks to Manir and to Aman for speaking tonight. I know this is really difficult for both of them to speak, to this, and it's a very important night, but it's a very important cause. So I really appreciate you speaking from your heart, and as well as Iman. Iman had to run out, but she wanted to thank everybody for being here. So thank you all for coming out tonight. If you would like to donate, that jar is floating around there somewhere, so please donate to the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. If you'd like to sign up as a comrade of the 309 Punk Project, we would love you eternally. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming out here. A beautiful group of people. Hey, can I take your picture? Y'all mind?
Sure.
Okay, does anybody want it or anything? If you are, then don't. Okay.
I always wondered about that. Turn the lens the other way so it'll be
So what?
upset. I mean,
So it's upside down.
we have the lenses on the bottom. It doesn't matter that much.
Does
It does matter.
Okay, I think we got everybody.
My leg's getting tired.
All right, you're all cute. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we have refreshments in there if you want.